Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse, the Friday, March 7th edition of the Daily Pulse. End of a long week here in the Merrimack Valley and in Greater Lowell. And we start, of course, the weekend, and we're going to kick it off in style because our special guest today on the Daily Pulse, none other than the Pod Squad themselves, Mikaela 𝐏𝐏 a.k.a. the hyphen on your left, Mike Bachagalupo, a.k.a. Batch on your right. Together, 2/3 of the original Pod Squad.
There you go.
Can we put the third member on a milk carton or something and get him back? I know he watches.
We can bring him back.
Yeah, I know he watches. You can come back, Jack. We want you back. It's not as much fun picking on these two because they've come around. How are you guys?
Great.
Good.
It's Friday.
2 weeks in a row with Mikaela.
I know.
She's becoming a media celebrity.
I know.
Like
How
the
about
radio
that?
days.
It's fun. I love this.
We've had a fun week on the Daily Pulse. I know you guys want to talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah,
We got a
good
ton of feedback, especially from yesterday's discussion with 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐶𝐞.
Oh, that was good,
The
man. That
𝐓𝐡𝐞
was
brothers,
great.
man, if they would just open up and not hold back with what they're really thinking, they would really be great media person.
Oh, jeez.
Lee's a very good communicator. Very good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I loved it with Lee.
Yeah.
We got a lot of other things to talk about as well, and we're going to get right to it. But first, let me quickly thank our Daily Pulse sponsors. Of course, Ray Booten, who's a licensed realtor in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. He's certified appraiser in both of those states as well. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, a business, a commercial property, Ray Booten is your man. RealEstateRayBooten.com is how you find him. And of course, thanks to our friends at WellPoint. WellPoint is the only health plan offering healthcare benefits exclusively to Massachusetts GIC members. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Thanks to WellPoint for hosting us here in the WellPoint studios. Thanks to Mikaela and Batch for being here in the WellPoint studios. But we got a full list of things to talk about. But I want to start with our friend, still our friend, right? Because we still back her, I think. State Auditor Diana 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐿𝐴.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
She appeared yesterday in front of the Joint Ways and Means Committee, the Senate and House Joint Committee on Ways and Means. And somebody said to me, you've got to talk to her. You've got to get her on the Daily Pulse. Because I guess at the hearing, she was there to talk about the governor's budget.
Oh, jeez.
But instead, some of the senators and House members of that committee started drilling in on the attempt to audit the legislature. And she kept trying to get away. She said, look, that's not what we're here for today. There's a time and a place. And they kept pushing her on it.
Aren't there rules against doing that?
And it got really contentious.
Yeah.
Because she's, she never bites her tongue.
Is there a video of it or anything?
No, there was a great story in the State House News Service
Okay.
that I was able to read. But we're still sitting here. It's March 7th. And they refuse to let her audit.
So
the
it passed
legislature.
the referendum, like the pass the ballot initiative. Right? Overwhelming, like 70%.
72%, I believe, was the final number.
And so they need to agree to let her audit them.
I don't know why they need to agree. The voters told them they have to, but they're saying we're not going to turn over what you need. We'll give you some stuff, but not all of it. And they say there's
It's like Epstein files. It's like Pam Bondi on the Epstein files.
Makes you wonder because she knows what she's looking for.
It's a stack of NDAs like this.
And
It is.
How bad is it that they're willing to tell 72% of the voters this?
Yeah.
Can she uncover like complaints that have been filed too?
I don't know. I mean, I'd be shocked if any of those records still exist. I'm going to guess they're being shredded and whatnot. But, they're fighting her. The state attorney general is now suddenly concerned about a constitutional crisis. But you put the ballot initiative on the ballot, which you have to, the attorney general has to look at it and say, yeah, this is constitutional.
Yeah.
So she's kind of already made her ruling.
You can't go back.
Now she's, kind of dragging her feet on it. And
she's a real winner, that one too, huh?
Diana 𝐓𝐡𝐞 was literally sitting there fighting them with the people behind her. And two of Lowell's state representatives who, vocally said to Inside Lowell and during their campaigns last year that they were going to support this. They were going to support an audit of the legislature. Or maybe not.
Well, this is a good conversation to have. Like, I'm just trying to understand the inner workings of why.
So I gave all props to State Representative Vanna Howard for back when this was a campaign issue saying, I support it. I wholeheartedly support it. I give props to State Representative Tara Hong, who just got sworn in January, because he made it a point during his campaign. I think he was in your chair, Mikaela, during a debate for the 18th Middlesex District, said, I support her right to audit people. And then they voted.
What about Rodney?
Rodney Elliott has kind of talked about there's issues with it and this, and he's tried to, while I don't think he's completely against it, and you can watch his podcasts to see it that he's done with me, but he hasn't come out and said, I wholeheartedly support.
I wonder, this is old news now, but I wonder if Andrew Kohler would have voted, because he seems to be a very...
Well, funny you mentioned Andrew Kohler. So there's the roll call from the Massachusetts House of Representatives. The vote, I believe, was taken on February 25th. A little after 5 p.m. is when this was posted. But I've highlighted in yellow and circled down on the bottom left, that is Elliott with an N next to him. He did what we pretty much knew he was going to do. But the two, one on top of the other, highlights around that second red circle, kind of in the middle of the screen, alphabetically read Hong and Howard. And there's an N next to them.
And how many voted yes?
Just a couple of Republicans.
Right. Yeah.
Mark Lombardo voted.
So that shows the power at the
Speaker of the House and House leadership cracked the whip. Perhaps literally, cracked the House whip and said, you will dance.
Right.
And these are the steps you're going to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't, the 17th district, the 16th district, and the 18th district are getting shit when you come running to us for finance.
That's why I give them a pass for voting no, because it was gonna get shot down anyways, right? If you vote yes, you end up in the doghouse. It's like when years ago, like I think it was Tipper's first or second term, he supported Volk for the speakership or whatever, and he ended up like, I think his office was in the bathroom for like 4 years or whatever. But like,
I believe he was on the dog catching committee.
Yeah, I mean, and so when you're over there, you gotta play ball, right? There's a lot of stuff that, do you really want to lose funding for the Rourke Bridge or whatever? Or maybe I don't know if that would happen, but like just the lose funding for Lowell. Because you went against something that was going to lose anyways, so you got to get in line.
They're vindictive. You know that's going to happen. The Speaker and the Senate President are all powerful. They run those chambers with an iron fist, and the only kind of bipartisanship or legitimate debate is when those two disagree on something.
Yeah.
Or if the governor steps in and disagrees.
So I give him a pass. I don't think it's right, but I give him a pass.
I do too. In fairness to Representative Hong, especially freshman,
I mean, it's like duh. Like
if your first key vote goes against the Speaker, you're toast, and maybe
you're not going to get elected. You're not going to get elected again because you can't do anything.
Right? In 2026.
Yeah.
But Representative Howard, she was very vocal about it. But I get it. And they tried to explain it. At least Tara Hong tried to explain it on social media. Yeah. And you mentioned Andrew Kohler.
Yeah.
Who he went out and said, no, you betrayed. He left the comment on that page telling Representative Hong, no, you went back on your word. You betrayed your district for the Speaker, and you could have stood up for what's right. And he went after him pretty hard.
Really? I didn't read that,
but it was, as you said, Batch, you got to do it. But it also highlights that whether it's at the state level or in D.C., perhaps it's time to revisit term limits.
And I would say, like, I would give them a pass, the individuals, because it's like, well, if I vote yes, like, it's not really making a difference anyway because everybody else is doing it.
Exactly.
So there's an element of that. But then also, like, it's like, why am I going to stick my neck out for something and not get anything done for, like, my people?
Right.
But it's like, I give them a pass, but I don't give the system a pass because the system is obviously broken.
Well, and if one of them did say, it's like when Tipper voted for Volk over, I forget who it was, whichever one went to jail after the. It was, he got a lot of respect for that.
He did it twice. The entire Lowell delegation, Golden, Murphy, and Nangle voted against another one for Speaker, and they paid the price as well. Tipper managed to climb his way up because everybody, except for some of the TDS deranged in Lowell, like him. Yeah. But it's like you pay a price.
You do. So I get it. But you're right. It's the system. The system is terrible up there. Like, and it's just what happens when you have, all one party running things. I've never seen a more incompetent group of people than the Massachusetts state Republicans. Like they just, it's just right there for the taking, and they can't get their shit together.
No,
it's crazy.
Fighting internally. They can't fight the Democrats because they're too busy stabbing each other in the back.
I mean, in Mara, I would think anybody like Mara Healey's got. I don't know what her approval if they bother with approval ratings, but her approval ratings have to be in the tank. I would think, right? I mean, she's terrible. She's the worst governor since Deval Patrick. And it's just, I just can't believe they can't get somebody to, to run against some of these, like the house. That's just, the state house is just so poorly run, and you get these speakers that have been just making all the decisions for what, like 50 years.
I mean, it's a system. Why wouldn't they embrace the system that's making them powerful? And
you have to work within the system that you're placed into, and that's what the Lowell delegation.
Yeah, the rules for the
doing.
system need to change, I think.
Right, either the rules for the system or the way that system is elected has to change.
Yeah.
So there's got to be term limits. I've never been so nobody gets entrenched in there for so long,
right.
And that if you're like, would Tara Hong and Vanna Howard voted differently if they knew that Mariano was out and the next battle for speaker could be a legitimate battle instead of the next one who's
it would change
Mariano's water for
I think it would change the whole
decades.
It would change everything. And I never was a term limit guy because I thought it's a good you need people that know how to do this and the experience and blah blah blah. But the more you see things, look at, especially at the national level, all these people do is get in there and pad their stock portfolios, right? So
I think some of them do. I think term limits maybe because there's value to someone working in a certain position over a long period of time. You
institutional knowledge.
You accumulate knowledge. There's a value to that, so that's fine. But I think term limits for positions of power, like speaker, should absolutely exist. And were the vote was this vote?
All right, so that's an interesting point. Maybe if you're not going to term limit somebody's chance to run in the legislature, how about you put a term limit on the speaker?
Or position, or other
gets one term.
Committee chairs.
You rotate,
things
or 2
that.
terms.
You
rotate it around like the Lowell mayor.
Well,
and only on rare instances does somebody get a second term. That's an interesting point, Nick. I've never thought of that.
And speaking of committees, was this vote taken before or after committee assignments?
After.
Okay, so that's
yeah, but it still carries over.
But it's okay.
I mean,
so here's the thing. One of the stories on InsideLowell.com was Tara Hong getting some.
He got some really good.
He got some good. He got education.
Yeah.
He got. Oh God, I'll have to find
something about environment. There's something about environment,
which is something he really wanted. Right,
Yeah.
Climate, education, and. I'm not going to be able to find that story now. It's probably back in the archives.
Which is awesome.
But I'm like, wow, for a freshman rep, especially one
great.
who ran on a platform of auditing the legislature, he did well for himself.
I wonder why.
I think now
we know why.
That circle in the middle above the other yellow line might just explain why Tara Hong got those wonderful committees.
Yeah. And it's a really interesting idea, right? But I mean, I think if you did so every 2 years, I think is too soon, right? It should be a 4-year terms for these people, right? So they don't have to.
Yeah.
Two 4-year terms and you're done. I think that's. I can't believe I'm saying this. I was always against this, but the more I look at it, I think you need term limits to stop some of this entrenched, power consolidation, the whole thing,
Well, so they run even the senators in Massachusetts, the state senators have 2-year terms.
Yeah, it's too soon.
So you could have, 4 in the House, and then because the Senate is a little more prestigious and there's far less of them, you can get 6 terms in the Senate. So you get 12 years in the Senate, 8 in the House, and you move on.
Or do 6 years and 4 years.
But I kind of like your idea, though. How about we term limit the speakers?
That would, I think,
it's a great compromise, right?
Yeah, because if you have someone that's doing a great job in the House or the Senate, and they, accumulate all this knowledge, they have built all these expertise, because you have to build a lot of expertise across lots of of wide array of topics to vote on things with information, and you build up a network of experts that you rely on, and what if you're doing a really good job at that and you have a super high approval rating among your constituents? You would want someone to be able to kind of carry on.
So that's the argument there. If the people, why would you go against the will of the voters? If the voters want somebody there for a prolonged period of time in that district, they have a right to elect that person, right? That's the main argument there.
There's abuse when it comes to the funding of these campaigns by big corporations or big donors that these elected officials are in the pockets of.
You know who would hate this? The career staff people. At the State House. Those, I'm telling you, they're a part. People don't talk about them. They're part of the problem, because they would sell their mothers for another job. Like, they're some of the worst. Like,
I don't know. I have no insight into.
Not worse, but like all they do is just barter all day long. It's not about issues.
Around, or, if one of their candidates retires or they have to land another spot, so
it's lobbyists in the career.
It happens.
Lobbyists and the career staffers. They have no belief in. I'm sorry, they have no belief in any issues. It's just about, it's a game
power.
To them.
Yeah. It'd be fun to like have like an insider that's like working there now to like describe that. You guys might to like describe like what's the workplace culture like there,
it'd be Diana DeZoglio and Nancy McGovern talking. I mean, one of them
get Nancy McGovern.
That's right now. There you go.
She would never say anything, but like all right, but like you talk to people that have been there for their whole, people that have spent a lot of time
they know how
in
things
those
work.
jobs, their view on this stuff it's a little scary. Like, it's really not. It shows you that what you think is happening is not what's happening.
What did Nancy McGovern used to tell us?
Nothing's real.
All a movie.
Nothing's real.
None of it is real. It's all a movie. She used to say, and she's right.
Now
unfortunately,
listen, I was there for 3 months, right, as an intern, and I saw it, and I'm like, holy shit!
Wait, you interned on Beacon Hill?
Yeah.
For who?
Senator 𝐏𝐏𝐿.
What? Why did we not know that? Did you?
I knew this.
I've told you this before. Yeah.
I'm senile. You got to hammer it home because I'm senile and I forget.
No, it was great. I was in college and I was like, I'm going to work in the State House. And I got there and I was like, I couldn't believe how much the guy that was running the chief, the aide guy was like, he called the shots and like 𝐏𝐏𝐿, like it was funny because like 𝐏𝐏𝐿 when he started, he was a vice cop, right? So there was a picture of him. They had a big raid. It was just cocaine and guns, and he wanted that in the front office. And they're like, you got to put that in the, in the back office. And he would just come in and he'd have these ideas, and they would be like, no, you can't do that. And they ran the show. Like, they directed a lot of what he came in with all these ideas, and then you'd have to like scale them back into what was workable, what was doable. But they were the ones doing it. And a lot of what they were doing was getting ready for the next job. I saw this in 3 months, and I'm like, I'm never working here again. Like, I thought this was, I was idealistic at the time. Like, I believed in things, and like
that must have really like hurt little bad. That must have really.
I was like, this is
what scarred you.
That's what started me.
Marching up the stairs. Oh, I'm working at the State House, and then be like, what's all this?
I thought it took my first day on the job. I had to get new dress shoes, and they were squeaky.
That's gonna be so exciting.
And I turned the corner, and the first thing I did was run right into Bill Weld, and the guy almost knocked me over. But like.
I knew about your Spindle City. I knew about your idealism with youth in Lowell and whatnot.
That was actually a good program. That thing worked.
Spindle City and some of the others. I did not know you actually were one of these. You were part of the problem. For 3 months.
I was. I wrote letters all day long on DOS or something, whatever it was back then. But like, I was like, holy shit, this thing is. I couldn't believe how different it was from what I thought it was.
It's all a movie.
Well, it's like when some people talk about, it's like. They don't really get it, Nancy's right. Like it is a movie. A lot of it is a movie, which is why when you see something like this where they voted, you're like, yeah, of course they're gonna vote no.
If they know what's good for them.
Although you brought up something interesting just now, like, when's the last time we had a Lowell mayor go 2 terms?
I think you got to go back to Eileen Donahue in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, right?
If
Rodney Elliott came close. Rodney Elliott came within 1 vote.
Yeah.
In 2015.
Really? There hasn't been a mayor.
Yeah, ultimately Bill Samaras, who left himself as the last man.
So how did that happen?
Voting for Ed Kennedy.
How does that happen like so organically that like Lowell just does a rotation of?
Because it was
ceremonial.
Largely ceremonial, and let everybody have it so everybody can get their portrait at City Hall, and then you just keep moving it along.
Okay.
But now,
but I'll tell you what though, once everybody gets it, they want that second term. I know 𝐓𝐡𝐞 behind the scenes wanted a second term. I know Rodney Elliott did. Ed Kennedy didn't because he had the State House job at that point. So we knew there was a changeover coming there.
But I've never, and I don't remember when Eileen did the back-to-back, but like Danny Rook is a very effective mayor.
He's very good at maintaining the decorum of the room and like.
But he's out there hustling, and I think they ought to give him another term. I'd like to see the whole thing.
You had to go there, didn't you?
Why not? I mean, unless
Did you bring your pom-poms with you?
I should, but no, like
I was
unless
going to give Tip a pom-poms when he was here the other day for his birthday. That was going to be my birthday.
He can't be
gift to him.
pom-pomming for himself.
but no, like
You can put him in his office.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And just call him the pom-pom squad whenever he's had a rough
just don't ask Asa, right?
Yeah, because Asa can't give an opinion.
But no, like I think I'm not just it's been really working. I think there's been a unified kind of voice, a unified plan, mostly unified, and Danny's reading it. I would give him I think they should give him another 2 years, unless Rita's retiring and she wants it. But Rita's not going anywhere. Why would she retire?
I could see Danny Rourke getting the mayorship again. Unless Rita Mercier says she wants it, and then it gets interesting.
Yeah, who like why would you switch him out? Everything's going fine.
Can I ask maybe a dumb question? If you're the mayor, does that kind of give you less of a platform to like speak on the issues? Because like I feel like a lot of city councilors kind of like have their stuff that they want to bring up.
Yeah, the
and
mayors don't speak as much on the issues. They run the meeting, and occasionally they'll step down or make a comment from the podium. But you're right; they generally don't file as many motions, and they generally don't speak as much at the meetings.
Right.
But you remember they chair the school committee, so they're like the quote unquote tie-breaking vote. If the school committee's 3-3, and they vote all the time anyway, but that's a 7th vote. That you're 1 in 7 there, whereas you're 1 in 11 on the council.
Do they have more duties, and like do they make more money?
They make a little bit more money. I think they get an extra $5,000 stipend. Okay. But I'll tell you what though, it's not as ceremonial as we think. So go back to Ed Kennedy in 2017. His role when the council voted for 𝐏𝐲 5-4, he went over to the school committee and kind of led the charge on the school committee, saying they were going to sue, which they did. The Lowell School Committee, chaired by Mayor Ed Kennedy, sued the Lowell City Council, sued by Mayor Ed Kennedy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, suddenly the mayor isn't as ceremonial, and I think you've kind of seen that, work its way up now. And, now look at, Danny Rourke does a ceremonial magazine interview, Capital Analytics, which leads to a ceremonial invitation to some conference that no other American was at in Toronto, Canada.
Wow, so you get to do some fun.
No other American went to that.
That's amazing.
So he goes to this thing, and from that, Frontrunner City is born, and the potential for billions of dollars of United Nations investment in Lowell. So it ain't as ceremonial as it used to be.
And that's why you keep him for another 2 years, because they know him, and I think it's a good, keep that relationship going for 2 years.
Oh, the continuity thing. You're going there. All right.
Yeah, continuity. I know people hate success in Lowell, but like it's not a bad idea.
Most people want Lowell to succeed.
Yeah,
but there are some barking dogs who don't want to see.
Yeah.
You know what?
There's benefits to both, mayor. Because I was thinking, maybe it's kind of like being a manager of a restaurant versus like the bartender. Like you have like a little bit more but you do get good stuff.
And if you don't like it, you can choke on my pom poms.
You're tuned into the Inside Lowell Daily Pulse on this Friday, March 7th, 2025. Going to get back to the discussion. We got a lot to talk about with the hyphen and with Batch. First, let's thank all of our Daily Pulse sponsors here. Of course, Ray Booten, licensed realtor, Massachusetts and New Hampshire, certified appraiser in both states as well. You can find him online at realestaterayBooten.com. Thank you as well to our friends at WellPoint. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. Washington Savings Bank, banking that feels like home. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. TMI Properties, quality and value at every price point. Find your perfect space with TMI. Mahoney Oil, providing warmth and protection at Greater Lowell and Southern New Hampshire since 1925. And on a windy, cold night like last night was, and a windy, cold day like today is, you understand the value of that. Greater Lowell Community Foundation, improving the quality of life in Greater Lowell through strategic, impactful philanthropy. Francis E. Preventure Insurance, trust your most valuable assets. Insure your most valuable assets with the agency Greater Lowell has counted on since 1982. And by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing all the hard-hitting action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City.
What about these guys?
Nick.
Are these guys?
Which guys?
Washington.
Oh yeah, we
Lowell's first bank.
Banking that feels
only
like
bank.
home.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Lowell's last local.
Lowell's last
Make
bank.
a switch now to Washington Savings.
And Mike 𝐓𝐡𝐞 brought to you by the coffee mill.
Nice.
Yes,
And I
indeed.
gotta get a sticker.
Which, by the way, your appearance at the coffee mill led to your first ever appearance in the column.
Is that
Not
the
my-
first ever?
Have you been in the column
I
before?
have, yeah, years
For
ago.
what?
I don't know, probably something about
Against
my
Spindle
mom.
City?
Yeah, it's been a couple times, but
But now you're happening, right? You and
so annoyed
listed
by
below,
that.
Officer Nels Christ.
What annoys you about that?
Because like I'm just who fucking cares if I'm at the coffee mill? Like it's not.
Because people care about you.
No,
now.
no.
Through Inside Lowell and your prior media career on radio, you are now somebody city council candidates reach out to you, don't they?
Well, yeah,
People who are thinking of running for office, don't they reach out to you?
yeah, but
They want to meet with you. State rep candidates want to meet with
I'm
you.
just sitting in the office in my sweats. I mean, at the coffee mill having coffee. Like it's not. There's nothing. I don't know. It just seemed. It seemed.
You were holding court. The column said. There was Nels was holding court in one corner. Batch was holding court.
It's a
in
local.
another.
It's like a local like.
You do
fun-
hold court.
it's
Everybody
fun
gravitates
reporting.
towards your table.
I don't like
It's
people
true.
knowing where I am.
If my wife has an extra 20 minutes before work on a Friday morning, she's like, hey, let's go to the coffee mill. Batch is there.
Yeah,
You're a draw
You're a
for
draw.
business.
I don't know. I
Batch is
just.
at the Athenian. Hey, let's go down to the Athenian.
Yeah, but I'm
right?
I know.
It's not just me. There's a lot of. It was. I don't like.
Yeah, but you're the ringleader of the circus.
I don't
You know
like.
that.
I
would
don't.
say
I don't
so.
like my whereabouts being public.
Michaela
really
doesn't come in
don't.
unless you're there.
That's right. Well, no, I'll come in by myself.
Once you stumble in every now and
I
then.
go down there to see.
Yeah.
Batch isn't there. We never see the Mick.
I go down there to see Dupe and Brady.
Well, there you go. Maybe Brady's the real
And like,
draw.
just like there's a lot of like, there was a little bit of like all the city workers are in there, this and that. It kind of seemed. It's not people lollygagging; they're going to work.
Can I ask a question?
What?
Were you guys writing on napkins like they do at Long Meadow?
What?
Writing what on
What are you talking about? No.
Off air.
Oh, really?
So-
Supposedly
that-
the city was being run on napkins in Long Meadow. If you go
Oh,
over to Lowell Live Feed Forum, that's
Oh, Jesus Christ!
apparently they don't like Long Meadow either.
Really? That's my
Apparently a
preferred.
bunch of guys going in there and having drinks is a bad thing.
God forbid people talk to each other.
this is how a lot of business gets done. Like
Of course it is.
everywhere, all the time.
That's why the Me
called
Too.
life.
That's why the Me
Yeah.
Too movement hurt women because now nobody talks to them. After work,
So-
she's like, you don't want to talk. You got to be careful.
Maybe that was by design.
Yeah, maybe they don't want to be talked to by men like us.
No. Maybe what was behind the movement was more nefarious.
No.
But speaking of the Me Too movement, I got to go national for just a couple of minutes. And
Okay.
you guys take this wherever you
Zoom
want.
out.
Because I've pretty much, other than reading feedback, I've gone through my list with this thing. But did you watch they don't call it the State of the Union in the president's first term because
really?
he's 2 months into the election. So
they
it's not
don't?
really- it's just an address to Congress. I don't think it's called the State
Oh,
of the
okay.
Union.
Oh, okay.
but in
Yeah, that
essence
makes
it
sense.
was. Did you guys watch it?
I watched the first parts of it, and then I was
Too
like,
long, right?
and then I was like, this is mind numbing. I want to put my head against a wall.
It was too long because by the end he really kind of hit his stride and he was making some great points, especially when he started introducing people and
Yeah.
And the moment I want to talk about we're all familiar by this point with DJ Daniels, right? 13-year-old kid, brain tumor at a young age. He's battling for his life constantly, right? You don't know when it's going to come back.
Yeah.
You don't know what condition it, but his dream is to always be a police officer. And he showed up in a police uniform. The president acknowledged him. His father picked him up a couple of times from the shoulder. That's not a small kid. He was like 13-year-old
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
But the dad was like a strong guy. Picked him up a couple of times. And then the president, dropped the surprise, which he said, well, we're going to make your dream come true. You've always wanted to be in law enforcement. We're going to make you a Secret Service agent.
That's really cool.
And
That's
the
really
kid was
nice.
all excited. And then the director, to top it all off, the director of the Secret Service comes down with a badge. And he hands it to the kid, and the kid's like, "Is this for me?" He's like, you could see him mouthing the words, and he was so happy. His dad picks him up again, and then the kid looks over and kind of whispers something or says something to the Secret Service agent, and the Secret Service agent nods his head, and the kid goes in and hugs him. and grips him for like 10 seconds. And like you could almost see tears. In
It's a touching moment.
I'm an a-hole, and I was kind of moved by that.
It's a touching moment.
It was touching.
It's very sad.
And of course, half the room applauded. You know which half of the room applauded.
Yeah.
The other half of the room, nothing. Nothing.
Why?
Why?
What's
nobody stood up. I don't believe anybody in our Massachusetts delegation, Congresswoman Lori Trahan, Congressman Seth Moulton from our area, but everybody else, Catherine Clark, the number 2 Democrat in the House, behind only House Minority Leader 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐨𝐝, she didn't stand up. I don't believe Stephen Lynch did. To the best of our knowledge, only one Democrat stood up, and she's my new hero. Hold on, let me call her up here. We're gonna get rid of this, and we're gonna go to this graphic. Laura Gillen, Congresswoman Laura Gillen, a first-term Congresswoman from New York State, a borderline red district in New York State,
probably upstate.
Who's had
definitely not from New York City.
Who's had some interesting things to say about her party. Kind of called her.
What's her name again?
Laura Gillen.
Okay.
First-term Congresswoman from New York, was, to the best of our knowledge, and you can see her there circled in the red suit, the only person on that side of the room who stood up.
What the hell? What is wrong with these people?
So I think this is just my
Come on.
This is just my take on it. I think that, probably Nancy Pelosi or whoever on the Democratic side was kind of like, we're not standing, we're a unified front, standing up for any of this stuff except for
holding up paddles. Which, by the way, make for great memes on social media.
I know.
You can, with graphics, you can put anything you
want. The marketing that the Democrats are doing these days is pretty bad.
I thought
borderline childish.
Did you see the pick your fighter thing?
I thought she looked like she was at an auction buying something expensive with her gains.
Well, there was one meme out there that had all these funny sayings on there, and one of them was, "I thought this was an auction," or whatever. Like,
just stupid stuff.
That's what happens when 21-year-olds run your party.
Well, or maybe people that are too old and don't understand like what the humor is of the people.
I think 21-year-olds' ideas.
That's what I think is happening. But I think that like a lot of this is, if you stand up for anything, it's going to be interpreted as you're standing up for in support of Trump, which is wrong. Like, we should have more. But then on the other side, right, I think there's just this like blind loyalty that Trump is trying to command here, because several times during his State of the Union, he was poo-pooing the Democratic side. Oh, they won't stand for anything. I'm feeling like authoritarian vibes here, and that makes me, and that's why I had to change the channel, because I was like, this is a little unsettling.
Why what's do you feel authoritarian vibes?
It's very much him saying whatever he wants, and everybody like, I mean, I just am feeling that way, and if you don't like what he says, he's going to attack you.
But see, I think that
that's, again, at all levels of politics, that's normal, unfortunately. I agree with you on that. But I don't get the authoritarian thing.
See, I think
Did you feel authoritarian vibes when they were trying to force everybody to get the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐸?
Yes.
I couldn't get on an airplane, or I had to show a fake 𝐓𝐶𝐞 𝐏𝐸 to get into a bar in New Orleans, the filthiest city in America.
So it's a different...
After midnight, the filthiest city in America. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're worried about
I didn't
the vaccine.
I didn't feel that way in the beginning, because it was very much like, you're doing this for the benefit of the health of the people around you. Like people get vaccines all the time, like at birth, so for the good of everybody to not get disease. Right.
84, I believe.
I thought it was over 100, but anyway.
It's like an auction.
With the paddles.
I know, but I think it's a response to the other side. I think the other side went a little too far with the control of the media and all that stuff. So I did start to get... Things are getting scary, is what I'm trying to say.
I warned about the executive orders when Barack Obama started to get a little heavy-handed in his second term with him. And I'm like, but you can cheer it now, but there's going to be a Republican there who's going to... And what we've seen is basically Trump comes in the first term, starts erasing some of Obama's things via executive order.
Yeah.
Biden comes in, immediately starts erasing Trump's things. Trump gets back in and starts erasing.
Don't you deal with that problem, because that's not efficient.
But it keeps escalating, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got, what, Trump's over 200 executive orders? I don't even know where he's at
It's
now.
very Central and South American.
But yeah, it's starting to become a little bit of a dictatorship. I get that, but you know, as long
But I don't think it started with Trump. I think it's been. I think what's different is that the way his language and the way he speaks is isn't so polished as like Obama or
kind of speaks like a working man, even though he's not.
Yeah, or like Biden, or even Bush, but like like the Republicans and Democrats do the exact same thing. You know, whoever's in office, the standing up, like that's why I don't watch anymore, because it gets annoying where you
have to wait for the clapping and all that. Right?
Yeah, and it's like, can you guys like do you have your own mind? You know, like
that's yes, thank you.
But, like you don't stand up to the kid with.
They're told get up and applaud every time a key talking point in policy positions. Everybody gets up. Remember, when Pelosi was leading the Democrats during Biden's years, and it's ceremonial. It's theater. That whole speech is theater.
Yeah,
and,
I don't get time for that.
But every now and then there's moments like that. Nobody stood for that kid. Or the year Pelosi ripped. Remember Trump handed the official version to the Senate President Pelosi, and she just ripped it. I mean that was
See, I think that's the Democrats' biggest one of their biggest mistakes was when Trump started doing that. Instead of taking the high road, they decided to take the low road.
Well, that's been happening back and forth since like Monica Lewinsky and
don't
that whole,
roll in the mud with the pig. The pig likes it.
Yeah.
So the pig is gonna. Yeah, he's gonna out. Like, come on. I mean,
he's gonna outpig you.
How brilliant was it to bring out that kid, knowing that they were gonna just sit on their asses instead of standing up for him? Like, it's kind of a smart move. And now they're
very
like,
smart.
And bringing out the mother and sister of Lake and Riley, who was killed.
And can I just say, this is what I thought was the most ridiculous part. Like, people might not like that I'm saying this, but the girl that got hit in the face with the volleyball. Like, come on. Like, this is what I'm talking about when I'm like, this is the problem I have with
Masha
Trump.
Brady.
All of it. But like, I mean, we're talking about
George
this.
Glass hit me in the nose.
Like, but it's like we're talking about this before we're talking about like the economy, like all of these things. No mention of Israel, by the way, to be found in that entire speech, which is ridiculous. But like,
I would have clapped.
There was not one.
I would have clapped for Israel.
Mention, not one mention. And we're talking about a girl that got hit in the face with the volleyball. This is the virtue signaling bullshit that he does, that everybody's going to sit around and talk to, because you know what? Everybody sits around and watches sports at bars. Oh, men shouldn't be in women's sports. But it's like, enough. And fine. But if that's what you want to, if that's a stance you want to take, fine. But it shouldn't dominate the entire conversation. There's more important shit going on.
But here's the thing, and this goes back to Batch's point about how the Democrats just self-destruct. Scott Jennings on CNN about a month ago said the Democrats keep finding a way to take the 20 side on an 80-20 issue.
Yeah.
Where the vast, overwhelming majority of Americans say one thing, the Democrats are always on the other thing.
I agree with
and
you.
that's one of those issues. Like, why are Democrats choosing that hill to fight on?
Well, Gavin Newsom just flopped on it. Did you see that?
Yeah, exactly.
Snake oil salesman.
But do you trust him?
No.
Like, just
He's a
Molten flopped on
I think
it too,
he's a
and then,
vampire. I don't know what's
Catherine
going on.
Clark told him to dance. He danced just like the State House delegation did.
Scum.
But why you choose it? You want to fight Trump on tariffs? There's a legitimate economic debate. There's different economic theories.
Talk about that. Please.
You want to fight Trump on tariffs? Go ahead.
Yeah.
You want to fight him on the dozen women who are competing against men and sometimes injuring them?
But Trump brings it up. He's the one that
keep fighting. If the Democrats would just say, it becomes a non-issue. The border is another one. Now, the border is a major issue. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it affects economy.
It is.
And again, 70-something% of Americans say close the freaking border, stem the tide of illegal. We don't want our tax dollars going to illegal immigrants. And the Democrats just don't want to budge on that issue. It's like,
they're not fighting.
They've got a suicide pact, political suicide pact.
And the deportations are at Obama levels right now. They're not. It's not like this is. People are acting like they're running into schools and grabbing kids, but it's like. It's the same. What's happening now happened under Obama.
It feels a lot more like visible and like happening
because they're
vocalizing
it.
Yeah.
So it's no.
But they were supposedly, the Sun reported they were in Wilmington.
Right. Like I feel
So
more.
getting closer.
What, getting rid of Italians? Wilmington.
Tracking down on the mob.
Yeah, what's going on? Too many pizza shops in Wilmington? What's going
Guys, not funny. These are people's lives, please.
Yeah, but we can make fun of Italians.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
That's a lot.
Right,
We
but
can make fun of Greeks.
yeah,
So,
inflating the issue.
Bat, you wanted to talk about, now you're here, you and Mick are here every other Friday, unless Mick is gone, in which case we bring in Han.
Yeah.
Definitely far uglier crew on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're a much more flowery crew with Mick. But,
Yes.
I'm setting it up so that on the alternate weeks when you guys aren't here, Leslie Boder's going to be here.
That's awesome.
So, well, first of all,
you want to share a story of your first meeting with
first of all, I thought that was great. I loved hearing her talk about what
Karen Reed.
Yeah, she had the way she framed that was really good. I'm like, that I kind of think that I might actually have changed my mind, because she's like, yeah, she might have done, well, I don't know.
Wait, she thinks Karen Reed did it?
She thinks she did it,
I have
but
to watch it.
she thinks she might have.
She did it. It was Leslie's. She was so drunk.
I'll have to watch it.
Not know that she hit him.
I'll have to watch it.
That kind of makes sense, except for the.
You converted batch.
Well, no, but except for the cover up, I don't get why the cover up doesn't make sense.
And the broken tail light, like that.
Well, no, it kind of.
It's not the way.
It made me thinking it, but she was great the other day, right? But what was funny about it is I've known Boder for like, I don't know, 10 years, maybe a little more. And so when I met her at 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐏𝐿𝐴's. I think it was like the Thursday. I don't remember when St. Patrick's Day was. It was a couple days before, because the NCAA round one was like a couple of days, and then I think St. Patrick's Day might have been the next day. And we're at 𝐓𝐿𝐴's, and she walks in. Never met her before, and she walks. It was her and this kid. We start talking, or we were making fun of her. She was making fun of us. We're like, this lady's great, right? The kid she was with was this Irish kid, and she ran into him at the train station. And he was trying to get to Lowell because he wanted to see where Mickey Ward was from, because he was boxing at the time. So Leslie walks in with this Irish kid.
Just a random kid came.
She said, "Here, I'll show you."
Just took a train into Lowell just to see where Mickey Ward was.
Flew over from Ireland, went to Boston with this, like, he had some friends in Boston. Decided to just come up on a train to Lowell. Runs into Boder, so Boder brings him out drinking. So then they're out all after day.
Where he survived that experience?
Well, barely. So we ended up like hanging out with them, and I forget what we were making. I had no idea what I was getting into with Boder, and so we became friends.
So this was the first time you'd met her, too.
Her, yeah, and this guy Liam.
That's funny.
So then Liam ends up coming out with us on St. Patrick's Day, and then he was like, he had a great time, because they don't really do St. Patrick's Day in Ireland. So he was like, he needed a place to stay. So I'm like, hey, you can, just stay at my place. You can crash on my couch, whatever. And then
this all comes from like a train station, like
Let some random dude crash.
Well, he'd known him for a few days at that point.
So
then
they had to get it together. Right?
So then I lost him, right? I don't know where he went. And then a couple days go by, and I'm like, hey, whatever happened to that Irish kid, right? So I asked the guys at the Old Court. And they're like, he was like, that seems like a nice lad, but I don't think I want to spend the night on some strange man's couch. So somebody got him to the train station and drove him home, whatever.
Oh, that's so funny.
But over the years, like he came up to Lowell every couple of years. When I was in Ireland, we tried to like connect with him. And so I hadn't heard from him in a couple of years. The day after I watched Boder's podcast, he texted me.
Out of the blue.
Out of the blue. No prompting.
I believe in like universe like stuff. Like that's because you were like probably thinking about like that's.
It was weird, right? So
that's so funny.
So he's doing because he had such a good time in Lowell. He's like, I know how you people love St. Patrick's Day. So he's got a T-shirt company now. So he's making all these St. Patrick's Day T-shirts, and he's sending me one.
And what's the name of the T-shirt company?
It's Doyle Shop, Redbubble.com. And he does a bunch of T-shirts, but the St. Patrick's Day ones are really nice. So if you get a chance,
I'm looking it up now.
Go on there and grab yourself a T-shirt. He's got some good ones that are making fun of redheads. I'll put the link up on.
Oh yeah, he has a shirt that says "Go on."
Yeah.
So there's the website right there, Doyle Shop Redbubble.com.
Yeah,
it's on our way. We finally made some use of the whiteboard.
Well, we on the Power Hour we do. But it was like a classic Boder story, right? She just runs into some random guy and takes him out. And he never met Mickey Wood, which is funny because...
The whole night you never ran into Mickey?
No, you figured you would, right? And so he's been up... I think he's been up 2 or 3 times since then over the years.
But texted you the other day at random.
Just sent me a message. Hey, I'm doing this. Do you want to... I'll get the shop if you can just throw it on your page for St. Patrick's Day. And I'm like, holy shit, I just saw Boder in a podcast. So
Small world.
it is a small world.
I love those chance meetings.
But having Boater back on the air, man, I forgot how good she was. And you had a good week.
She's awesome. Love Boater.
You had a good week. You had Tipper in,
Yep.
who was fine. You know, it was good. And but
Lots of views for the city manager.
Yep.
he does a great job.
Yep.
But Lee,
Lee, get your underrated superstar. We're going to do this regularly with Lee.
I hope so.
Openly
was-
Will he
defying
come
the
on?
governor.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so.
He doesn't care.
He's very entertaining to. He's entertaining to talk
he's
to,
just
but also
brutally honest.
Yeah.
He actually tells you what he's gonna do, and
Yeah.
he's really gonna do it. There's no like what he's technically he's a politician. Like
Yeah, he's a school committee member.
he's a unicorn politician. He tells you what he thinks, and then he actually does it.
He's a lot like Donald Trump and Diana DeZoglio.
Well, he's a little better. Well,
I wouldn't say that. Yeah. Well, Donald. Yeah. I would
hope
say that.
future governor. I hope Diana DeZoglio. But
That would be.
Hope so.
Or AG or something would be great.
but that Vogue stuff's bullshit. What they're trying to do over there.
Yeah, and a lot of folks agreed with Lee. I put the little tease up where he basically said, "I'm voting no, and I dare the governor to, hold back funding if the rest of my colleagues vote no." Got a bunch of feedback on that Facebook post. I do too. Stick up. Susie in Lowell says, "Great show, very funny." Athenian Corner alum, by the way.
Susie who?
Susie Rossetti McCarthy. Any relation to you?
Oh, no, she's a hyphen. She's a hyphen
hyphen.
McCarthy.
I don't know if she hyphened
Not,
into
no,
it.
yeah.
Oh no, that must have been before my time.
Linda in Lowell says, "Lottery? Oh, hell no. I know Matt Sheehan will go to bat for us, but how can we taxpayers put a stop to this?" Matt Sheehan, one of Lee Gitchier's fellow school committee men.
Oh, yeah.
So he chimed in, says, "I share the same views with Lee. There is no need to fix something that is not broken."
Yeah.
So there's 2 votes on the vote school board. Is there a majority?
I mean, Freddie's still on there, right?
Freddie Bahu's on
Yeah,
there?
Freddie would do that.
You think Freddie would be a no?
Yeah, Freddie always does the right thing. So
Okay. Interesting. So maybe we'll have a little state constitutional crisis that doesn't involve the auditor, but
Well, and,
involves the Lowell School Vocational School Committee Board.
and Lee and I were talking about this at one point. I think he mentioned it. Like this isn't happening at Boston Latin. They're only they're doing it to vocational schools. And there's a whole
Is Boston Latin a private school though, or is it?
No, it's public.
Public,
public.
but it's lottery. It's lottery, right?
Why? What? I don't understand this whole thing in public schools where, like, everybody is treated exactly the same. It's stupid because not everybody is the same.
And if they're not, we lower the standards to make everybody the same.
Right. It's like I was saying to you guys. It's like you don't have the person setting the pace like with one leg, right? You should have the fastest runner set the pace, not the slowest, right? And it's just, and when I was growing up, used to have they used to call it tracking, and I guess it's bad, but like you'd have 8-1, 8-2, 8-3, and you would. Now they used to group kids based on if they were white or from good families. That's probably not a good idea. But like if you could test,
It was academic level.
not really.
Academic achievement level.
It was
Because I
more-
went from the Greek school to the Drake schools, and based on my scores at the Greek school, I got placed in the
We never took a test.
7-1 or whatever.
Well, when I was in, they don't still do that, like separate
No.
classes based on skill level.
No, everybody's together.
No,
No, they have honors.
That's it though. But the
Well, they have
rest of the,
honors classes too, but below the last or
but junior high they don't. Everybody's you get the.
yeah, junior high. Who cares?
No, that's listen. You know what a kid's going to be by the time they're in 7th grade.
I don't see a need to
Separate them.
separate classes in like 7th and 8th
I do. 'Cause
grade.
I'll tell you why. If you have a group of kids, right, that are high achievers, you're only going to need one teacher, right? Right now, if you say you had like 5 classes, right, or 3 classes, right?
Yeah.
One group, and if you take all the kids that need extra help and split them up, you're going to need like 3 paras, maybe 4. If you put all the high achievers in one class, you don't need any paras in that. You can double up on the kids that need the help. You separate them out. I mean, you have gym and recess or whatever together, but like, when it comes to the academic stuff, if you put all the kids at the same level together, then you can give them more support. It's a lot more cost effective and better for them than spreading out the problems or the kids with higher needs. I mean,
I went to private school until 7th and 8th grade,
all right, well,
and they never split us up.
yeah, they did. Depends on who got in. You were already filtered.
We were filtered based on
Where did you
if
go?
you're-
You went to the Lowell Public Schools after the Hellenic?
Yeah, I went to Hellenic and then St. Stan's and then Lowell High.
Okay.
But you can kick out private schools can kick out kids that are problematic. You can't do that in the public
Well,
schools.
I mean, like, not to throw my
Vocational schools can too. That's the argument. Say, well,
Right.
you're a public school.
Well, you just
should
get
live by
bad-
the same
And those
rules.
kids
you just get
deserve.
bad grades. Like my brother went to St. Jean d'Arc, and like, not to throw him under the bus, he was a horrible student. And he's great now, but you just got yelled at more and you got bad grades.
Right, but he wasn't disruptive to the classroom. He didn't need extra help. Like,
yeah,
that's in the public schools. You have to take.
I see what you're
everybody.
saying. Yeah.
And by the way, everybody deserves an education, but there's no if you
allocate the resources appropriately.
Right.
You don't give up on the kids. You allocate the resources appropriately.
Right.
if you consolidate kids with similar learning abilities, then you can focus on them. Same thing with the language thing. Like, why do we? First of all, why do we give MCAS in English and not in a language where the kids can actually, read stuff? But that's a whole other thing. Like, there's just the whole system's broken, and I think
maybe because you can't teach in 73 different languages, you got to teach in one language.
Yeah, but there's ways you can. There's enough like Spanish kids. There's enough kids. Well, not anymore, but like,
if someone doesn't know how to take MCAS in English, then MCAS isn't their first problem. Right.
But everything's taught in English.
Right.
They don't teach content in another language.
Unless you're in an ESL class.
Well, that's
no, but they teach you how to speak English. I don't know.
You're not going to go. But I will say this, and kind of I think to your point, Mikaela, if you don't know English, you're behind the 8 ball, not just in America, but really around the world.
Right. So
knowing Spanish is an advantage. It's helpful.
Right.
But it's not a death sentence, right? In terms of
right.
But if you don't know English,
then MCAS shouldn't be your first goal of learning. It should just be learning. It should be that should be the first.
Right. But what they do is they take the kids and they spread them all out, and they put it's not, I don't know. They're so concerned with like treating everybody exactly the same that you just go to the lowest common denominator, and that's Desi. Desi sucks.
I see what you're saying. I do.
The only people that suck more than Desi is the What is it? The
MIAA. Yeah.
Do you know they're charging the friggin' cheerleaders? Cheerleaders have to buy the Massachusetts
Interscholastic Athletic Association.
Oh, they run all the leagues and stuff.
They run the sports and
They're charging the cheerleaders to get into the Central game tonight. The
Lowell High's cheerleaders.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
No, can't be.
I haven't confirmed it.
No way.
That's what I heard. I heard it down the coffee shop. So I don't know.
Where's Melanie Gilbert when you need her?
That's where you get your news.
And then somebody asked, like, there's money for those tournaments. Like, where does the money go that they collect?
It goes back into sports for the kids, man.
Whoever's collecting the money.
They suck. That whole thing with that petition that I think Eric had about like the flag football and all that they're not allowing female flag.
Yeah, Rodney Elliott, State Rep. Rodney Elliott has been pushing that, and a lot of people are. Yeah. And nationally, as a matter of fact.
Wait, to not allow female flag?
To make flag football a high school sport. It's
they're not.
It's kind of a club sport right now.
They denied it at the mass, whatever they denied it.
The MIAA, yeah.
That sounds like a good idea.
It's a good idea until you let the boys start playing it.
Isn't the whole objective of flag football to not tackle each other? It's like it's like tag, right?
Yeah, but it's going to have collisions.
But for the girl,
there's going to be incidental collisions.
Well, playing tag on the school grounds, you could have collisions too, like freeze tag, like whatever. Like it's the same.
But high school kids aren't playing tag. We hope.
But they suck.
If you do it in kindergarten,
whatever gets them outside and having fun and playing together and getting exercise and sunlight, I'm in favor of.
I'm with you.
Of course, I have an old beef with them, anyways. Back in
the MIAA,
1989, we got in trouble with them. We had a fight with the Methuen girls softball team coach. So we had to write letters of apology. We got in-house suspension. It was a bad deal.
Jesus,
letters of apology.
Oh yeah.
Melanie Gilbert was right. Can we talk a little bit about? I'd like a counselor to make a motion to rename a famous building in Lowell.
Oh no.
Oh.
And you don't even have to change the hyphen. Just the hyphen will stay there. But instead of the Smith Baker Center, can we have the Hondras McCarthy Center? Can we rename it?
No, it's the Smith Baker Center.
There was one meeting where they hadn't decided they hadn't voted whether to tear it down.
Yeah.
Where literally the speakers were all the
we all showed up. We believe in the cause. My dad is definitely leading the charge. And I'm very proud of him for that.
Is your dad one of the people that wants to go into the building, or is he smarter than that?
He wants to go into the building. He wants to have somebody go into the building to see what the deal is, because it's like.
What are they thinking they're going to find? Do they not trust the Gale engineering report? They kind of told them what was in there.
No,
I would trust it. You ever see a traffic engineer's report?
I think it's kind of just like, I think the stance is just like, before we make such a big decision, let's have people actually go in and see and like step inside the building.
And if you're worried about the insurance, just got to put them in one of those big
my dad, the thing was you had to get the insurance. And then my dad went and said, okay, well, how much does it cost for insurance? For the entire year, it's like $360. Like, that's it.
Plus, your dad, he's a small guy. If stuff falls, you can just get out of the way.
Okay, well, you wear a helmet. You have you take safety precautions.
Can I ask this question? Where's the money going to come from? Even if that group that your dad is a part of, manages to salvage the building from the wrecking ball for the time being, and it comes up with the money to do whatever, shore up the building, put the net around it so that falling slate doesn't kill somebody. Where are they going to find? It was $20 million 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone down. Now, maybe depending on what you want to do with it inside, you can keep the cost somewhat in check. But where are they going to find that money? Who's going to invest in that?
Well, the problem is they can't raise any money or go solicit grants unless they like have ownership of the building or something. So they can't even like put feelers out there until because I mean, what kind of investor is going to say, well, do you even have control of the building? Like, you're going to put whatever. So like, they need to be given that opportunity to see.
But they don't have an investor already that says, yeah, this is a good idea, I'm going to save it. They still have to go solicit the money. So how long do they get for that? Another year?
It's been how long where we've just let this building kind of just like sit there? Like, if there's a concerted effort, there's a group of people that have formed this coalition that's really willing to put the work in to save it, give them some time. It's been sitting there already for 20 years already. Like,
how much time do we give them?
3 years. I don't know. Like, I'm just,
and then in 3, and if they come up with the money in 3 years, we have the same debate and a different.
But what if they do? But what if
we got an idea for it? We can.
Just don't announce how much it costs to renovate. Then that'll keep the cost down.
Well. Well, I mean, the thing is this is a very old, very beautiful building that is part of the viewpoint of this street that we're on right now, right? So you look down the newsletter that the city sends out, the wonderful newsletter that they're doing, which I'm so happy they're doing, has the roof in the picture in the newsletter. It's like, it's a historical building in Lowell that we want future generations to enjoy. And before making a decision that we cannot reverse, give them some time when there's passion around this already. Like, give them some time.
Is that newsletter good communication to the different neighborhood districts?
It's to everyone. Well, it's a really cool newsletter, the business one, and I'm super excited about it.
You do a nice job, but why didn't anybody with money come forward before?
Maybe because it didn't get the attention, and the city council is doing a really good job. The city manager is doing a really good job in like talking about it. And who knows what can come of this?
What about the?
I feel like it's just delaying the inevitable.
What about the idea?
I don't like that.
What about the idea that when you look around downtown right now, there's like 4 or 5 storefronts that are being used as
was that
as churches?
Intentional Freudian slip.
As churches, right? Like, if some of these groups got together and consolidated, and you shared that space,
unite religions. No, well, then who becomes the pastor?
You mean to have it be a religious space?
We have 27 Greek churches in Greater Lowell because they can't.
Well, no, there's
the 150 Greeks still left in the community can't decide which church.
Well, there's 2 left, right?
And unite, right?
Good
point. You know what I'm talking about. Like, why do we have Holy Trinity and Transfiguration at this point?
Yeah, but that's a more like broad, like that's a bigger organization, right? I'm talking about these small churches they're kind of niche churches, right?
So who's going to be the pastor?
No, it's not how you do it. You maybe you get there's services at the one near the Old Court on like all weird times, like, Saturdays at like 7 or whatever, right? So maybe if those churches got together, they could.
Yeah.
You bring your BYOP, right? Bring your own pastor, but you all instead of renting out the thing, you consolidate and you book some time.
So it's a community church, and then you just rent the time. And
you like book the.
All right.
I kind of there's a church at the end of the street across from me on Stephen Street that's like packed. Like, it's like it's a huge. It's packed.
I mean, this place
on certain weird times.
Gorgeous, right?
So like, the
it's beautiful.
They're already paying for
nonprofits.
Well, they're already paying wherever they're meeting.
They're already paying rent for wherever they're
using.
using.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
I know it, because you just consolidate.
But somebody needs to fix it first, though. That's the first problem.
I think there has to be some like conservation, like historic, like building fund grant stuff out there to make this happen. Like there has to. For a city like Lowell, it's an urban national park. Like there has to be something.
Do you think the CBA was able to track those down when they had the opportunity to 5 years ago?
That's there might be something else now. I don't know.
Yeah, but people love, like, you look at some of the churches that are built, like, for these other religions. I don't know much about them. I don't know if they're Baptist or...
Episcopal.
All I know about is Greek Orthodox and regular Catholic. Like, I don't know, like, what the other folks are doing, but, like, when you get those friends that go to that church.
Oh, the church religion's making like a weird comeback.
Right.
I think.
So there's a lot of money
with the young people. I think
there's a lot of money in God, like the God industrial complex. You know,
maybe we can get the Pope to sell some of that expensive gold and stuff he has at the Vatican, and we can.
Well, I think
get funding for the Smith Baker.
That's a completely different club, though. So it's
aren't they the biggest? They're like the biggest owner of real estate in the world, aren't they?
They were
the Catholic Church. Yeah.
So
we'll just. What's one more building? We'll get the Catholics involved.
I mean, they got to put some aside for settlements, but like but I bet I'm just saying, if you consolidate some of this, you might be able to do it.
All right,
then they can rent it out for like music. Like, I don't know, just an idea.
It'd be amazing performance.
I'd like to see
Where
it
would we
saved.
put the Southeast Asian Museum then? Because that's what isn't this your father's group? That's the ultimate goal. Part of that will become a Cambodian history.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, that's one of the ideas.
Wouldn't that be down in
Cambodia town?
Yeah, shouldn't that where it should be?
Look, I think it's a way of finding whatever will save that building and whatever ends up being a good use of that building. And the Southeast Asian Museum sounds like a wonderful thing to have in the city.
I don't know. You'd have to gut the inside.
Well, I mean, this is at this point, it's just like, let's not get it torn down right now. Let's like explore options. Let's think things through.
I like the idea of a timeline, though. You got 3 years to figure this out, and then after that, we're blowing it up publicly.
I just picked 3 years out of like my thin air. That has nothing to do with anything, by the way.
For it, and one hope only.
What is it?
Front runner city people. If for some reason that $2 billion investment says, okay, we'll foot the bill here. Okay, I'm open to listening. No disrespect to your dad or Council Paul whatever. I don't think they have the funding. I don't think they're going to come up with the funding to do it.
They can't come up with it until it's like putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah, but once you put it in their control, now you lose the right to... I mean, they can put a time limit on it, but what's a fair time limit for you?
I don't know.
Otherwise, it reverts back to the city.
I can't speak for what they think is a fair time limit, but give them something.
Doesn't Middlesex need a performance space? Couldn't we reach out to the Donahue family and have them? Oh wait,
they already have it. They tore another historic building apart and just left the facade. Which is ultimately what I think is going to happen there.
But see, the interior of that building is beautiful,
and the facade is going to stay up.
The front runner city thing that you bring up. This is like another conspiracy thing. But is there any ties to like, because it's funded by United Nations, right? Have you heard about like the 15-minute city thing?
I have very much looked into the 15-minute city thing.
And like what's happening like Myrtle Beach was supposed to be a 15-minute
It's not, to my best of my investigative abilities, there's nothing in there that ties into the 15-minute city.
Okay, good.
Some of the goals, sustainability.
Yeah. Which is a goal.
What's a 15-minute city?
Diversity, economic opportunity. 15-minute city is basically where everything you want is in those 15 minutes, except the car. And you've got to live. You can't go shopping outside of it. You can't go outside that. 15
so it's a ghetto.
No, people have likened
a nicer name. Ghetto that's taken on such a negative connotation.
Right. I gotcha.
We now call them 15-minute cities.
Okay.
It's a better selling point.
Yeah.
People have likened them to glorified jails. Basically prisons, because you just don't have like
it's talk about nonstop video surveillance, monitoring and stuff. So
universal income.
I've looked, universal basic income. I've looked in, and I don't see anything like that. And from what is going on in Toronto, or somebody, it's Regent Hill or Richmond. It's different. It's not really Toronto.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that there.
Okay, because I don't want that to happen.
Right, I don't, trust me, I'll be the first guy, I'll stomach using all the good language around, wokeism and sustainability, but if you 15-minute city, we draw the line.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it sounds like it's a place or an idea where you can get UN involved people to give low interest loans, invest their money.
And yeah,
in one spot.
and somebody makes money because they then turn around and take that low interest loan and give it to you at a ridiculously low interest compared to normal lending.
Right.
For them, a 1%. Think about it. Just if they lend that, if that money comes in and then it gets lent out at even a 1% margin. So say, say it's 3% that they get the money for, which I think is much lower. They get the money from the World Bank, but they loan it to you for 4%. What do 1% of $2 billion?
Right. It's still
That's a lot of freaking money, right?
It's
a
like
win-win.
it's like seed money, and
Yeah,
just
so
like,
there's people making money off this, which will make the Lowell Marxists, the Lowell Live Feed Forum and Llama, you'd be all upset because somebody's making money.
Oh no.
But if it allows you to save Smith Baker Center, that's what I would be. And I wonder, as Tom Golden sat here and he talked about an angel investor for another site in the city, but saying, could there be an angel investor
for Smith Baker?
That ties in with my church idea.
It's front runner city.
Oh, it does.
I like it. We're at the 1 hour mark
geez.
plus, but I know you want to talk a little bit about Market Basket.
Oh yeah.
You think that not all market baskets are alike, Batch?
I love it. I could go on
And it has
with
nothing
forever.
to do with how many of each item they stock in the aisles.
Well, again, I was at the coffee shop and I was talking to this kid, and we were talking about, like, when you go to a market basket, right? The level of attractiveness of the customers varies from place to place. And I've been, because I usually go to the one in Chelmsford, right?
Yeah, that's my market basket too.
It's okay, right? On that level.
I don't look at other people. Like,
That's all I do is people watch.
I don't even think of that as Chelmsford. I mean, that's literally
right next to
blocks from my
Cross
house.
Point.
It's
Yeah.
literally like Outer Highlands.
So it's definitely a step above the one in, because I go to the one in Nashville when I need plastic bags. I'll run up and shop like once a month, and because you need them for stuff, right? And that one, it's a lot of
I've never been to that one.
Let's just say it's like a dentist nightmare.
Oh, no, I've been
or
to that
dream,
one.
depends on how you look at it. But like
On the Daniel Webster
Nashville
Highway,
one, yeah.
you can buy beer there too.
yeah. So that was a little nut, but I went to the one in Pawtuckettville not too long ago in the middle of the day.
That's like creme de la creme.
It was like it was just
We should have coffee there when we have coffee.
I don't know if I'm attractive enough to go there.
Yes,
I was like,
you're
look,
fine.
You may not be allowed into that market basket.
No, go to Wood Street.
There were a lot of-
No. Go across the bridge.
Go to Nashville.
You troll, got
I
the
am-
wrong side of the bridge.
I am way above. I think I'm above Wood Street. I probably fit in. My attractiveness level fits in Chelmsford. Definitely in Nashville, but I'm not. No way. I'm not Pawtuckettville market basket material.
It's like the elite market basket.
When I was organizing Inside Lowell and the concept and all this stuff, I had a couple of meetings with some folks, and that's where they meet, because that's where they go to get coffee.
There's like a group that meets there. There's like the Greek.
There's a bunch of the Greek mafia meets there as well in the morning. But I guess you go there in the mornings, and they got a really nice little cafe. It's no coffee mill, but if Melanie Gilbert wants to go in there.
That's where she should
and
be
see
going.
who's holding court there.
Yeah.
But I looked around like, yeah, this is not the Fletcher, the Dummer Street Market Basket I went to as a kid, or the Sunrise Plaza.
It's very nice.
And it's not even Stadium Plaza.
You would think Stadium Plaza.
Stadium Plaza is much nicer
But
than most market baskets.
That used to be my market basket.
But I think the Pawtucketville one, much more attractive people. I think
you should have a poll.
The most attractive people.
Most attractive. Which market basket has the most attractive customers?
I like this poll. I love polls like this.
And you do. I think you do the ones in Lowell, right, and then maybe throw the Nashville one in there, or Tewksbury, whatever it is. I was just like, we were talking like, yeah, they really are the most attractive customers in the Pawtuckettville one.
I'll have to go. I haven't been there in a long time.
You gotta go to Pawtucket.
It's noticeable.
Plus the store itself, because it's so new. It has
The meat department has like meats rolled and stuffed with it. Like it's like prepared like shrimp skewers.
It's
like
not Wegmans, but it's closer to Wegmans than Dummer Street.
It's
But you know what's
getting there.
interesting? There's no pajamas in there.
Yeah,
It's pajamaless.
You're least likely to see pajama. Which market basket are you least likely to see pajama pants?
That one, yeah.
Yeah, there's Lululemons.
Yeah, you got to
But
dress
there's no
up.
pajama pants.
You got to dress up to go to that one.
I don't know. I don't usually get lemons. Wait, what are they?
Lululemon.
Those the expensive
Yoga.
yoga pants.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They don't want to market to people who built like you and I.
They're very
I found out they
expensive.
make Lululemons for men.
Yeah, they do. Like like shorts and stuff.
My godson's sisters and his girlfriend bought him Lululemons.
Yeah, they're good.
God.
His recent
It's
birthday.
the material is very good. They're probably made out of like used electronics or something. So
There
it's
was a
probably really
period
bad
there
for
where I
you.
was doing a lot of biking.
Yeah.
To stay fit, and I got like spandex shorts. I can't do
Oh my God.
spandex biker shorts.
By the way, yesterday
Riding through the dead ends of
Yeah,
Drake.
we think yesterday was muffin top day.
Why
Speaking of that.
Oh yeah, yesterday was 59 degrees.
Yeah,
No,
muffin.
you gotta have. I saw your Facebook post. To have a legit muffin top day, you gotta have some sun.
So next Tuesday it looks like it's 62 and sunny.
62
That
and
might
sunny.
be.
That's the official muffin top.
All right, they can break out your old spandex.
Yesterday was muffin top spring training.
Yes.
Yesterday was like a peak
The exhibition
muffin
game.
top.
I think next Tuesday we could have the first legitimate muffin top.
You know who wears spandex when he goes biking is Paco.
Does he really?
Paco and spandex.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Somebody's got to.
I don't know if I want to.
If I was a guy, I would wear spandex and then I would put regular shorts on top of the spandex.
I don't know
Because the
how you
spandex
can-
is doing something, right? Like it's like
Yeah, it's
like-
crushing your balls. I don't know why you could wear
But there's
it.
a reason why people wear spandex
Reducing your
biking.
sperm count.
Yeah, but, I mean, I don't know.
So I guess he
but I
said
would wear
there's
some
a-
shorts on top or
He
something.
said there's a legit reason why he explained it to me. Something with the aerodynamics or something, but I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not that
Was he
serious.
racing
About,
Lance Armstrong?
yeah, exactly. Like, well,
hell's Paco?
worried
Well,
about his drag. Like,
He's
I
got
don't
plenty of room for spandex.
All right. Before we wrap it up, it has become a Pod Squad
Yes.
tradition. The Hondros hug, the hyphen hug. We leave everybody for the day, for the show, for the week.
Mm-hmm.
We leave them on a high note.
Wait,
so
but don't forget to mention you got elections coming up.
Oh, a reminder to, if you know a green business or person, to send in your nominations for the Sustainability Awards. Our Sustainability Summit is April 5th. It's a Saturday. So get your nominations in. If you go to our Facebook group, we have all the stuff, Lowell Sustainability on Facebook, and we have like the links and stuff there. So get your nominations in. Hondros Hug is, so question for each of you. Do you consider yourselves to be artists?
not
No?
at all. I could never stay within the lines.
Okay. But art, like an artist, like in life, like you're doing this with like the media company, like.
I mean, I draw, but
yeah,
other than
you
that,
do. Yes.
You're gonna call a broadcaster an artist, I guess. Is
Other
it
than that,
art
no. I
form?
mean,
Is it-
So my Hondros hug is that, we spend a lot of time like consuming stuff and, whatever, taking stuff in, whatever. But I think that we need to consider we should all consider ourselves artists in every sense of like what we do and what we put out there. It could be like a conversation like that we're having now.
Or like
or it could be
making trouble.
Would that allow
making
us?
trouble.
Would that allow us to qualify for the subsidized artist lofts?
Oh, there you go.
You could.
Right?
I don't know. I don't know what the parameters are.
I've seen some people who like they paint, and I've seen some of the paintings, and I'm there's
Well-
Van Gogh isn't on Canal Street. I'll tell you that much.
That's a great scam to get cheap rent.
Yeah, could we make ourselves artists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's not really where I was going. But meaning like there's things like you are such a unique, everybody's like such a unique individual that like there's stuff that only you can do, like like being a good husband and a good father and just like making something, making a nice spreadsheet like for your job.
Spreadsheet artist.
But like, or like sending an email to someone that like might help, or like being there for a friend, or like, so like everything we do and put out there is like, it doesn't have to be a painting to be art. It's something only you can do. So I think my Hondros hug is like, everything you do this week, think about it and like make it try to be like art that only you can do. That's like good in the world.
All right. Well, Teddy, you're an artist. You created the Podatorium.
Absolutely. I like that.
We call it the Well Point Studio.
Well Point Podatorium.
The Well Point Podatorium.
I wish I had thought of it a couple of years ago. What's
All right.
What's your...
You know, just being myself every day. Going for a walk. Yeah, no, I mean like spreadsheets. Like when I make a good spreadsheet, it's good. It's exciting. I get excited about it.
Is the hold on, what's it called? Is it as
the election spreadsheet?
The election spreadsheet? I gotta turn those off. I know what you're talking about. That was a good. Yeah.
So that's art. Like I feel like we should be more proud of like the things that we do. Like only you can do that, like with your thoughts and your creation. So like, make it art. Whatever you're doing this week, make it art.
Inside Lowell is art.
It is.
There you go.
There you go.
It's something you created.
All right.
Right.
I mean, that is the definition
on a digital canvas.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and people are enjoying it.
Yeah, I like it.
And
maybe I can get myself one of these grants now.
I don't see why not.
Well, Trump is killing USAID, so.
Your words are art, Teddy.
You know,
my words are art.
Yeah, your spreadsheets are art.
Yeah, I think of them as such.
I think cooking's an art.
Cooking is an art.
Yeah, cooking. That is an art.
Yeah.
Conversation
Especially
is
pastries.
an art. Yeah.
Pastry in particular is an art.
That's
everything.
true.
It's all, like going and getting a coffee from the coffee mill and saying thank you so much and brightening someone's day and saying, whatever. Running the Athenian Corner and giving people beautiful meals and experiences. And that's an art. Like, this is an art.
The Honduras hug is the art of positivity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like it. Hey, before I let you guys go, InsideLowell.com, we just published a story about a Lowell guy, a Highlands guy I didn't know about, Sean Flanagan. Helen Flanagan, his mom was assistant superintendent.
I'm thinking of Mrs. Flanagan.
Not Dottie Flanagan,
Helen
Helen Flanagan, assistant superintendent. I came within a nose of being Lowell school superintendent. She lost 4-3 votes to Carla Brooks Bear.
A long time ago. Yeah.
Her son, Dave Flanagan, is now the president of the board at Long Meadow. So he runs the country club. But Sean Flanagan is a thoroughbred horse owner.
Really?
Yes. Flanagan Stables, I believe it's called. He's got a horse running his first 3-year-old race tomorrow, the Tampa Bay Downs. Story on InsideLowell.com, by the way.
Oh.
If his horse wins tomorrow, will probably have almost assuredly qualify for the Kentucky Derby.
No way.
The horse will also run at the Bluegrass Stakes in Keeneland on April 5th. Again, either race, depending on how it finishes. But the horse won 2 Grade 1 stakes last year before finishing 6th in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
But I looked at the Vegas odds on him. By the way, 𝐏𝐿𝐴 Peña, thank you, 𝐏𝐿𝐴, told me about this horse. 23-1 odds right now in Vegas to win the Kentucky Derby. Hasn't qualified.
Wait, to win the Kentucky. So,
but if you want to bet the horse right now, you can get 23-1 odds.
So what about
the horse
tomorrow?
Is called Chancers. Oh Jesus! Now my memory is awful. I just published this story.
But is that all in the story though? Like
all of it is in the story. InsideLowell.com.
Because I'm gonna be doing. We'll go and betting tomorrow for Sonny's birthday.
You gotta go read.
Well,
it.
you should.
Yeah, definitely.
Happy birthday to
Sonny. Get on
Sonny.
TVG and get in there on that.
Yeah.
Let me find that horse.
Or FanDuel does. You can bet on FanDuel, TVG.
Chancellor McPatrick.
Oh,
Chancellor McPatrick
I like
is the
that
name of the
name.
horse.
Great Irish name.
It's a great story. I linked to an interview he did with some racing publication. And back in 2019, Sean Flanagan, they told him he's got some kind of cancer. He's got 2 years to live.
What?
Yeah, and he talks about that and how, the next couple of years, like what life was like for him. But here he is in 2025. He said they asked him how you became a horse racing fan and got into the game. He goes, I used to go to Saratoga for 55 years.
Oh, wow.
I became a fan. I might as well, something I love. And he's got a thoroughbred right now that
Holy
is on
moly.
the track to at least run in the Kentucky Derby. And 23-1, not bad odds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do they televise the race tomorrow?
I don't know.
Tampa?
It'll
Be on TVG.
So if you go to Long Meadow,
You
it'll
might
be
watch
on.
it, yeah,
If
yeah.
you go to Mount Pleasant, it'll be on
yeah.
because it's a Highlands family.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure Vesper will have it on. All these country clubs
Yeah.
like to put the horse racing
Yeah, and a lot of
on.
the bars have the TVG.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So there is a potential Lowell connected horse
That's awesome.
targeting the Run for the Roses. It's a great. I didn't know about. I know Dave Flanagan because my wife and I
Yeah.
are social members at Long Meadow, and we get all the emails from him.
That's exciting.
Didn't know his brother Dave. Your brother's even more accomplished than
I
you.
know. That's
Maybe this will-
exciting. I'll
maybe
bring
this-
my Go Horses hat out.
There you go. I'll have to reboot my my apps. There's no money left in them.
I
I've been on a losing
Now
streak.
I have to see if I have. Does Hulu have that horse racing channel? I got to check and see.
I think
There's gonna be
I
something.
got to find out because we can watch this tomorrow
just do you have
Yeah.
the TVG app? You can just watch it on that.
on my phone too.
Yeah. Just screencast it. You can just get TVG and then you can bet on it.
Well, there you go. You put it on the.
So I'm lucky I was able to
I know.
unplug and get. I can now master Netflix and go back and forth.
Riley will
with
do
all
it
the
for
other-
you. She can,
Riley will
She'll
do it.
figure it out.
Ari will do it for me.
yeah,
That's
download.
right.
All you gotta do
Figure it out.
download TVG, put a little money in there, and then you'll be able to watch the race live on your phone, and you can screencast it.
But it's not a monthly charge, but it's like a gambling app. So if
Yeah,
you
it's a
have
gambling
money in
app.
there,
Yeah, yeah,
Pay as you go.
yeah.
Oh, all
But
right.
you get to watch the race.
But I like to bet the Derby. I like to bet the the Triple Crown races, the Breeders' Cup.
It's way easier than
I
going to
used
the-
to do it in the old days. You'd call the bookie.
Yeah, and it's easier than driving up to wherever to physically put a bet
Sure.
in. You can just it can be dangerous though.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
It's addictive. All right, Mikaela Honduras McCarthy. You don't like my idea about the Honduras McCarthy Center renaming? If your
Like,
father
keep it the
and that
Smith
group
Baker.
saves it,
Keep it the
it
Smith
should
Baker.
be. The hyphen needs to change. It's the Honduras McCarthy Center.
I think it's the Dennis. I think it's just the
Your
DM
father
center.
may have single-handedly saved that.
No, it's a whole group of them. It's a
Whatever he
whole
did,
group
he
of
talked to-
very. It's a
Yeah,
whole
but
group of
Your
very.
father's the one who grabbed a hold of John
When he-
Dakota.
Listen, her
who made the
father.
motion to tear it down and said to him, "Hey,
He's
I got
been
an
working
idea."
He's working
has.
very hard because
Her
I admire it. If he can pull it off,
Yeah.
great. We did our Greek school programs in there. You remember that building?
Yeah,
Were
yes.
you guys doing it there? Or did
my
they have the
mother.
cultural center.
They had the cultural center.
Your
at that
mother,
point, but
your
my
mom,
mother did.
Yeah, I busted some great Greek dance moves on
Yeah,
that
it's a
Smith Baker
historical
stage.
building. We have to. Keep
It is. It's a
going.
great building. It's
Dennis
also needs to come down.
Dennis is ridiculously persuasive. He got me to climb a mountain and go sailing.
Yeah,
He's like, "Here you go, Batch.
he's
Sail the
very
boat."
encouraging. He's
Yeah,
very
he's
encouraging.
a persuasive
Does he
guy.
have $20 million?
No.
We're gonna. Well, there's a will, there's a way. That's what
All
we
right.
say. That's
All
what
right.
we say.
I think front runner cities. Somehow that group's got to align themselves with front runner cities.
That would be great. Yeah.
That's the way to go. All right. Thank you, Batch. We'll see you
Always a
guys on
pleasure.
the boat.
Yeah.
Thank all of you for tuning in as well. That wraps up another Daily Pulse. It wraps up another week of the Daily Pulse. Next week, we'll bring Boater back. I got some other stuff as well. I'll figure it all out for you. But keep tuned in each and every day here. The Daily Pulse keeps you caught up on everything happening in Lowell and the world around it. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody. We'll catch you on the other side.